Okay, so I'm here with the champ, Mr. Michael Shields. He's going to be returning to your fighting championship this weekend. He's going to be facing Jede Paulo in a rematch which was a very close split decision, which obviously Michael Fields went his way, but he has the chance to right that wrong this weekend. Thank you so much for joining me so close to the fight. How do you feel going into the fight this week?
Everything's went perfect. There's not much I can really say that's went wrong. My weight's good, my training's went good. So everything's perfect. Everything's lining up to be a great performance on Sunday.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Jed obviously came in about 6 weeks ago. Before that, it seemed like it was finding it really hard to get people matched for the featherweight. Do you know what the reason for that? Is it just that because I think the show is at the end of a group of shows, a lot of people would have been booked up. Is like
Yeah.
you found it quite hard. Just what was the reason? Was it because there's so many shows, people just weren't available, or
Well, I think a lot of the featherweights recently have sort of went pro. From my knowledge, a good few of them have went pro. And a lot of them seem to be booked up as well. Like obviously Julian Manu and Kevin Kehoe fought. So a lot of them just seem to be booked up, and anybody who had spoke to Daki about or had Daki texted me about fighting had said yes, and it just seemed like they just weren't available, which is obviously it's just how it is. You just probably go through them periods of just not being able to find fights. But I wouldn't say it's anything to do with me, people avoiding the thing. I just think it's probably just hard to find fights. It seemed like even for cage conflict, it was hard to match around featherweight, 66, 68. It's really hard to find fights. Like so, I think it just must just be maybe the time of the year or something like that, where it's just hard to find fights. So I don't know. I'd have fought anybody. Like it was actually before Keith Cure went pro, I was hoping that he hadn't went pro yet because I was really hoping to fight him, but it doesn't. As well.
yeah, I know, like that, like you said, it's that transition of like that, like Keaton all going pro who fought a featherweight, and
Yeah,
then it's the transition of this kind of new featherweights entering, and you're one of the more experienced ones now as well. So like with
yeah.
the fights you had, so like putting you against a 1-0 or a 2-0 guy,
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it's another sort of way. So obviously, the likes of Julian and Kevin are two people that you could fight because they both have experience and they both have high skill levels as well. Is one of them
Yeah,
obviously the winner of them the other night? Would you be interested in fighting Julian in the future? Because I believe that fight was meant to happen on this card as well.
it was meant to happen. And I don't know what happened. I think he's just, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you what happened. He pulled out and then fought Kevin. Which is fair enough. I mean, if you want to fight somebody else, that's fine. But I would love to fight Julian. I think stylistically, I would be an absolutely horrible fight for him. So it's definitely one in the future we'd like to get. Definitely before the end of the year, even after this one, once the FEMA belt, that'd be a perfect fight to fight him after because he's just coming off a win against Kevin Keogh was pretty good. So yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah, they are two pretty good guys, and then obviously they fought. So obviously the winner of that would be a good test for yourself as well to show where your level's at because they're around quite a while. You mentioned Keith Kyo, obviously. Keith Kyo for me is one of the could potentially be one of the breakout stars this year in the pro scene. I think he's that good. What
Yeah.
what was your attraction to fighting Keith? Is it because he's that good and you wanted to experience kind of what he's like? Do you feel like you could have beaten him? Or is it just you want to fight the best? Because if you would have said that a year ago, you probably would have got the opportunity a couple of months ago because he was finding it hard to get matched at amateur.
Uh, it was a bit of everything. Yeah, it's a bit of everything what you said. It's more of a, I think as well. I would have been a horrible matchup for him just in terms of my style. I feel like it would be a very hard fight for him just because he's tall as well. He's a southpaw. Um, he's a bit more technical. So am I. So I just think overall it would be a hard fight for him. Was a lot of the guys at featherweight, they're a bit smaller, they're a bit stockier, more explosive. Will like go crazy for 3 rounds. Whereas sort of be a bit more tactical. Where so would he. So I think that would actually play into my factor, him being more tactical and turn into an actual more tactical fight rather than something mad. Which you see a lot of amateur fights the way it is. It's just absolute chaos for 9 minutes, which is why I can't wait to go pro. So I can be more relaxed and I'll fight people who are going to play the game a bit more, which is where I strive. I feel like that's why I just think it would have been a very hard matchup for him. But I just want to fight him as well because he was also 15-1, very good. Everybody rated him very highly. So yeah,
Yeah, no, he is. He is like I think he will be a breakout this start this year, and it would like that. At least you have the balls to say that you wanted to fight him. A lot of people like you've seen it with your own teammates struggling to get matched
yeah,
up. I reckon it's gonna start happening for Kieran Cougar. I reckon it's gonna start happening for Damien. And I reckon it's going to start happening for a lot of lads, which I think is mental amateur. If you're on the same level, you should fight for the experience.
There's
But
no reason why I couldn't afford him. Like we were both on roughly about the same amount of fights. It's
yeah,
not to make sound mad because I don't have the same sort of cool looking record, but with it's been my 12th fight. He has 15. Made sense.
yeah, no, exactly. And see, that's exactly it. Like, it's not as if, like I said, there was only 4 fights in between that. That's
Yeah,
all it was. It's obviously he had spent time being injured and stuff as well. So obviously his amateur career is a bit longer, whereas you've been very, very active and you fought like
yeah.
that top guys as well. So it would have been a very good fight. You've got Jed again this weekend. When I was speaking to him the other day, he was saying that he felt like he could have done more, and he thinks that you felt maybe you could have done more on the night as well. Do you think this fight is going to be completely different to the first fight because you both want something to you both obviously you want something that you want to try and prove something because of the way the decision went last time. He said like that he felt he didn't perform to his best last time. Do you think the two of you are going to come out here looking for a finish on Sunday?
Definitely. I think it'll be a completely different fight all around. Like, um, I just think that I know he spoke very nicely to me, so I don't really want to say much, but I just think I am so much better everywhere. And I rate him, he's really nice, but I just think I am so much better everywhere, and I didn't even show 10% of what I can actually do in that last fight, and I feel like um that fight made me and his skills look so much closer than what they really are. Like I am much better than that. So this weekend I feel like a real good opportunity to go out and show that like our skills aren't really like along the same level. Like I'm so much better than that. So I feel like it's a really good opportunity for me to go out and show that he's nowhere near my level.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good fight. I can't see it being anywhere near the first fight because of
No.
obviously all the different factors involved in it. And obviously, you've got the title at your fighting championship. You've fought a couple of times now. What you make of the show and what you make of working with Decky? Because I seen obviously I was talking to you tonight. You got your posters and stuff like that, and you seem quite happy with them. What do you make of Decky and the show as well? Because obviously, Cage Conflict is your home show. You
Yeah,
weren't on that there recently, but you're on this show, and there's quite a few FAI. There's a crossover between FAI and Torres, obviously, onto different shows. How
yeah.
did you find your fighting championship giving you the other option as well?
No, I love fighting on here. It's a brilliant show. I've fought on it twice now. It's very well set up, and Daggie's a legend. Like he'll, you know what I mean. Like he gave me those posters the other day, and I wasn't expecting that. Like he said something about posters last week, but I wasn't too sure what he actually meant. And they gave me these posters, these big massive posters of the fight card, and it was classic. Even just wee things like that there to just sort of look back on your amateur career and just your first main event, just having your own poster of like top of the card. So, I love fighting on here. I think Daggie's a legend.
You know, it is quite good. And like I said, there's a crossover between a lot of tourists go on to him, and that's much better as well. That it's everyone's a bit everywhere. But obviously, that's what I was going to actually bring up next. Main event. How do you feel about
Yeah,
that? One thing I'm happy about was obviously Shay and Damien have headlined 2 main events back to back. One was one was Cage Conflict. There doesn't seem to be as many pro fights on the regional scene at the minute, and I think that's because the likes
yeah.
of Octagon and Cage Warriors are taking the lads quite young and different places are as well. But I think the regional scene probably means more to amateurs to headline the card than it might to a pro. How does it feel for you to headline the card?
It's unreal. It's so good. Like, but I'm not surprised either. You know what I mean? Like, there's a like I probably would have headlined one or two by now if things in my amateur career had went differently. Like, I've had a few dodgy fights. So like, there's a strong argument for me to be 8-3 or even 9-2. So by then, like, probably a few fights ago, I could have been main event shows, but I guess just how it all played out. And the main event adds that wee bit of extra, not pressure, but you know what I mean? Your main event, your first show, you want to go out and have a good performance and like catch a few eyes because obviously everybody's going to be like, they're there for obviously watch their friends fight or whatever, but everybody stares on who's the main event. So you want to kind of have a good performance and let people know who you are. So it's a good opportunity for me to get a few eyes on me as well.
You know, and that's good as well. Like you said, you talked about being the main event, a little bit more pressure, but obviously Jed's from Dundalk, which isn't too far from Nori. You're from Belfast, which is not that far either. So it's kind of a neutral ground as well. Do you think that helps or hurts, or does that even matter?
Um, I don't know. It doesn't don't think it really. Do you mean like in terms of like supporters or like
Yeah, because obviously if you're gonna have some supporters with you, he'll have some. But obviously if you were in Belfast, it'd be different. You'd have the pressure
yeah
of all your friends and family being there when you're doing the main event. Do you think stuff like not having well, I don't know how many people you do have coming. You could have hundreds, I don't know. But not having absolutely everybody plus your nanny and your neighbor coming
uh,
to cheer you on. Not having that there, do you think that lessens the pressure or does it matter? Do you thrive on the pressure?
um I sort of enjoy the pressure to be honest. That's why I love fighting on cage conflict. Just because all your friends are there and that but actually like everybody's paying to come and watch you fight, everybody's spending their salary to watch you. So I do enjoy the pressure like but um it doesn't really take much away from it where it is. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, because like I don't think anyone's gonna have more support than the other because obviously it's not a hometown. But
Yeah.
after you have this fight, we're not obviously looking past your opponent because he's the main thing. There's so many more promotions out there with so many more opportunities and potentially title shots as well. Um, how active do you plan on staying, and would you like to go for belts on other promotions as well? So I'm trying to figure out in my head the cage conflict featherweight. Was it James Slavin?
James Slavin was
Yeah, so
yeah,
obviously
he
you
was
can't.
getting yeah, but he just couldn't get a replacement. So not sure what'll happen there. I'd imagine James will still fight for the title next, which he completely deserves it, like because he worked hard for that last one. Then it was just unfortunate the way it fell. Um, and then there's Akuma at the end of August. There's plenty of other shows like that need featherweight, so we'll just see how it plays out. But I think after this one, I'll probably take just a few, not any time off to training, just a few months off fighting because it's been my 12th fight in uh just under 2 years. So
Wow.
you know what I mean? I'm just turned 19 as well, so I think it'll benefit me to take a bit of time off fighting and just practice new things, develop my skills, and then come back later at the end of the year probably, and then see where I'm at after that, or see where I'm at before I come back. But after
Well,
this, it probably will be I don't know, maybe 5 months, 5 6 months until I fight again.
that's I get that as well, and I've talked to a lot of people, but that, like you said, that's 12 in under 2 years. That's a fight every 2 months, essentially. Like
Yeah,
that's what that when you break it down like that, that's fighting every 2 months. And do you think obviously I used to think like that being active was always the best kind of method for a fighter. But then the likes, I think it was Kieran Davin said to me, like you said, sometimes he actually stops his team from competing for about 4 months and says it's kind of like your upgrading sessions, no, not session
yeah.
or upgrading time where you just drill. Do you feel like with no fight camp on and studying for just kind of or training for one opponent, do you think the skills get better quicker then? Not that you don't during camp, but when you just go and train for the sake of training and trying new things rather than
Yeah.
focus on an opponent.
Well, it's more just like being able to go to training and like not having the fear of like having a bad session because you tried new things and not coming away feeling like what's the word? Not coming away feeling like you're not ready for a fight or you didn't have a good training session, you're not performing as well as you sometimes do. Whereas then times whenever you don't have a fight coming up, you can have them nights when it's not really going to bother you as much because you don't have a fight coming up, and you're like, oh, I wonder if the other guy I'm fighting is doing really well in training at the minute. So it's just a mix of everything as well. Like but then that's only like I've had 12 fights, not including junior fights. Like all together, I've probably had about 16, 17 fights in like 2.5 years
Wow.
without grappling competitions as well. I mean, I've had like 7 or 8 grappling competitions. I've been like so active where I've just been like I've always had a date in mind, so it'd be good to just take a few months off and just improve and try new things.
Yeah, no, that is good idea. That's a lot of competition, obviously, within a short space of time. But obviously, it's paying you dividends because you can see your skill level.
Yeah,
Anytime I go to Cage Conflict, I was there watching the fights. I think you love watching fighting as much as you do actually
no,
being
I do.
in fighting. Um, But like that being said, going forward, you're just going to take your time, which I like, rather than rush it, because you have plenty of time in the world. And then, like when you talk about just training and getting better, what's it like at the minute? Like obviously you've got um Jordan's going to be fighting this weekend over Newcastle. Jordan O'Neill, he's fully gone over now, is he, or is he still half and half?
No, he's fully
He's
with
fully.
us now. Like he's fully joined Fight Academy.
Yeah, so you've got him obviously in Newcastle, with Jordan as a major talent. And then it's not just him, you've got Paul Hughes, obviously, that's doing his thing. And you've got so many good pro fighters that are going places. What's it like being in the gym at the moment? What's the buzz like? And just what's the training like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, just being in the gym is just, you know what I mean, you just it's like an addiction. You just get addicted to being there. You just get addicted to being around your friends. It's just like, and every day you're just learning something new. And the whole system as well that Pat, Shando, Adam have is unreal. Like you have one night's grappling, one night's striking, one night's wrestling. Like even we do a back group just an hour on the back every week. Um, that's how much detail goes into. That's how much our coaches go into detail with us. But the training at the minute's unreal. Like see the buzz on the way up the cage conflict, or even the buzz still now. Like still unreal, but on the lead up to cage conflict and stuff like you just need to be there to experience it. I know you've went up on Sunday sparring once before, like, but see on the lead up to a cage conflict, it's like it's mental.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Adam Strongstopple at the show the other night, and he was
Yeah.
telling me about the likes of the flyweights like Jer, Henry, Kieran Coogan, Miss Oliver, and things. And he was like, "You should see the spars." He goes, "I would need be able to charge you." Like I was like, "I'd pay to see what those spars are like." I can only imagine, but it's
Uh,
good like that with the run up to cage conflict. Uh, I could say the buzz
And
is.
there's fighters in every division as well. Like there's like the amount of fighters we have in each division is mental. Like there's at least five featherweights. There's a few bantamweights. There's loads of flyweights. There's lightweights now. There's welterweights, middleweights. There's flipping heavyweights as well in our gym now. There's endless bodies. Like
Yeah, and yeah, it is because obviously you've got. I'm trying to think off the top of my head of you who you have. Obviously, you've got James Staffen, you've got Tiernan Loughlin in your weight division as well. Yeah,
Corey McLaughlin, Matthew
Corey.
Elliott, I mean, me, flipping Blaine McGill. I imagine he's going to featherweight soon. Um, there's more that I just can't even think of right now. There's definitely more. Nathan Mulligan as well. He's only 2-3-0 or something. Like he's a featherweight and he's seriously good. There's so many. James Wallace, everybody. There's ones that you haven't even seen yet, and you're just gonna be like, whoa.
That's I wasn't like when you're going in, and sometimes people say they feel a bit shit going in. Do you ever think like I can't not go in here 100%? Because like is there times where you're like obviously you're gonna go in and get the better people some days, but is it if you're ever having a bad day, it's not a group of people you want to have a bad day in
No,
around because it's not gonna end up nice going home. But like that, it is
no,
what it is. It happens to everyone at some stage.
no. That's it. But sometimes you just do have them days, and you're just coming away going, "Fuck me." It's just it completely like if you don't have a good Sunday sparring, it can just ruin the rest of your week because you're just like in spar well, and until you spar the next week, and if you then you spar well, it then makes the rest of your week good. So it's just a game. Like you just have off nights, you have good nights, and you have off nights. You're like, am I even ready for my fight? And then you have good nights. You're like, holy fuck, I cannot wait for this fight. You know, it's just how it is.
Yeah, and there's something that I like that you brought up. Obviously, is like if you have a bad one, you're waiting all week for the next one. So obviously, you could be pissed off, but you could be motivated also
Yeah,
to make sure
definitely.
that you get the good sparring next time. Do you think mental factors play a lot more into fights than people give them credit for, and your how you mentally approach a fight and how you mentally prepare yourself for a fight?
Definitely. Because it could be a night where, like the week before a fight or something comes up and you can't train and you're like stressed about it. It's like, I need to do this session, I need to do it, and I need to do it. But it's just sometimes being able to to just like sort of sit back and go, I've done all the work I possibly can. And I'm ready for the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'd say it's 50-50 mentally and physically. Like, you have to be ready for a fight, knowing that you've done enough and just being confident that, I'm ready for this fight. Like, this is the most confident I've ever been for a fight because it's how hard I've ever trained. Haven't skipped any sessions. I've completely had my head down for the past 10 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's just about like staying mentally strong, especially on fight week. Sometimes you can like maybe even hitting pads or something on fight week and you're low on carbs and you're starting to feel a bit tired. Sometimes you come away and go, am I actually ready for this fight? Like, why am I just getting so tired? But it's just about knowing your body and just yeah, it's just 50-50 with the mentally and like mental and physically.
Yeah, and like that, it seems like that. Obviously, no one's perfect, but you've got most things figured out, and that I assume was come with just the amount of fights that you had as well. Because a lot of
Yeah,
fighters think, like you would think that, why am I tired? Am I ready? Am I this? But you know, that's just the feeling you're gonna get at this stage because of your body, because of the low carbs,
yeah,
and then that will go and it'll come to fight day as well. Like obviously, you're gonna be one of the last ones on. It's the same when you fight on Cage Conflict as well. You're usually high enough up there as well, so it's a long enough wait. How do you find
yeah.
dealing with getting to the venue and then having to wait to the fight? Like, what advice would you give someone? Because I know it could be kind of depends on how long you are waiting. It could be quite nervous for people.
Yeah.
Like how do you relax and is there anything that you'd advise people to do that might help them just relax for a few hours? And obviously structuring your warm up would be essential, I'd say.
Well, everybody's warm up's different. Like, that last fight, that was like the biggest warm up I did. Like, I properly got a good sweat going. But fights before that, I'd only really ever did like small warm ups because it was like, I don't know, it was just never for me doing a big warm up. It was always like the just conserve a bit of energy and stuff, which it's just warm ups just depend on like how you feel, and that's fine. But in terms of like driving down and being at the venue and walking in, I mean, you sort of you'd be thinking of them nights every night after training. You'd be thinking of like, oh, I wonder what the cage is going. Not sound stupid, but even what like wonder what the cage is going to look like. Wonder how like wonder how big the venue are going to be. You know, you'd be thinking of them moments weeks and weeks before the fight. So then, whenever they come, you just need to, you know what I mean, like embrace it and go, this is what I've been waiting for, and just like take in the moment because weeks and weeks before, that's all you've been thinking about. I'm training for this fight. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. And then whenever it comes, people will be a bit taken away. So you just need to sit there and go, this is what I've been training for. I'm ready for this. You know, this is what I've been dreaming of every night.
Yeah, yeah, because like yeah, I think about long time advance, and I think sometimes people, especially you've had so many fights, so you're used to it by now, the crowd, the event, and everything. I think
Yeah,
it just catches a lot of people when they go from novice to amateur, and I think one of them was going on to Cage Conflict, and I was like, you're going from fighting with no one in the room to fighting on Cage
yeah,
Conflict, like that's a massive difference. And some people love it, and some people obviously they might not like it the first time, but look. It's a fantastic fight that you have this Sunday. I thank you again when I met you the other day. It's really
no
nice
worries.
because we talked about a lot of the fights while we were there and we enjoyed some of the watching the fights together. I'm gonna look forward to seeing you again this weekend. I'm gonna be there at your in person as well to watch the fight as well because I really want to see this fight. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to shout out? And thank you so much.
Just want to shout out my coaches, Pat, Adam, Shando, just for all the work they continuously put in. And it really doesn't go unnoticed by me or any of the boys training. Shout out to my mum as well for I said this last time as well. Like having her on Fight Week is unreal because you know like she is completely screwed in with all that stuff and completely knows what I need to be eating. And my sponsors, Freshly Prep, HCN Sports Massage, Can I Help UK, um, Future Focus Financial, and Mark Rainey, my strength and conditioning coach, and Adam as well. So thank you to all them.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and especially so close to fight. I really, really appreciate it. And I will
Watch
see
for
you on Sunday.
Sunday. It's fun.